long time coming, but I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.
Hey guys, what's up everyone? Welcome or welcome back again to another video tutorial lesson from the Apex Predator Billiards Training Club. My name is Apex Elenio, your aspiring professional pool player and pool instructor straight out of the small island of Jamaica. Now, pool players, I have a very exciting video for you here today. It is coming from one of my most recent discoveries that was in fact inspired by Niels Fine and the great Dr. Dave. Now, I'm going to be letting you in on a little bit of that secret. Now, to kickstart this video, I would have to have you listen to the concept being explained by Niels Fine from his professional point of view. Let's take a look.
That's okay. This shot comes up all the time, guys. 1, 2, 3 rails and potentially 4 into this zone. Comes up all the time in your 9-ball games. You will learn to avoid the scratch and hit that rail there and come into that.
And here is Joshua Filler executing that very elaborate knowledge there.
11 years ago.
Come on. Joshua Filler.
Absolutely incredible shot there. Now, the pros at the highest level finds that, or you will find that safeties, defensive shots are the most potent skills you can have. And here is Joshua Filler once again, one of the best players in the world today, executing his defensive prowess.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the safety behind it.
And Joshua Filler is definitely one to take a look at. He has worked tremendously on his defensive game because he is by nature a high level ball pocketer. Now we're going to be taking a look at a recap from what we discussed in one of my previous tutorial sessions, where it's get out of a tough position with this advanced safety. If you haven't checked that video out, guys, a link will be pinned in the description box below, so do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well to stay in tune for when the next parts of the videos are coming out. Now, here you will see where I've placed my object ball at about a quarter ball off the rail, and the objective here is to spin the cue ball off 2 cushions heading into the trajectory of the object balls that are hanging in the corner. Now, to be very successful at this, you'll need to hit the object ball at approximately a half ball without spin, maybe a hair above center here. Depending on your table condition, you may need to apply a 1/8 to a quarter tip of spin, but on my table here, a natural rolling cue ball would head me into the trajectory of the corner pocket. Now, there are many advantages that can actually come from you not heading into the trajectory of the corner, because of course in a real game that would not be your objective. In fact, it could be a case where rather than going for a 1 bank combination into the 9-ball, or maybe you are afraid of banking the object ball, or maybe the object ball is blocked by the 9 and the 8 ball is actually in the corner, you could use this as a creative strategy to really win games. Hopefully in the future this will come up and I'll be able to demonstrate this for you here. Now, of course, that is just pretty much a demonstrative recap of what went on in that particular video. Of course, a link will be pinned in the description box below, and you can check out the full explanation of how much of the object ball and cue ball you need to hit when it comes to finding the true trajectory of the cue ball. Now, switching to the other side, of course, you will find that it's the very exact same thing here. A half ball hit on the object ball and coming a couple of cushions towards the 9-ball there in that case. And you can see that as we go here on the replay, that was just maybe just a hair of side spin, just a hint there. And notice that as it comes off the cushion with that medium soft stroke, it starts to spread slightly. So you have to use this as a foundation towards you being able to do some of the things that you saw both Niels Fine and Joshua Filler doing there. Now here we're going to be definitely extending this knowledge here, not only in part 3 but also in part 4, where we're going to be moving the object ball at several different angles, and so you're going to be able to determine if you need to hit ball hit fraction with spin, ball hit fraction without spin, or just ball hit fraction here. So that was a nice little recap there on what we discussed in that last video, but now we're going to be pushing the boundaries of this advanced 3-cushion billiard system. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, guys, and leave a like if you like what you're seeing already here. Now notice there that I've placed my object ball 1 full diamond to the left of my position, well, left from my vantage point, but to the right from where I am shooting from. And so from that perspective, you'll realize that the cue ball basically has a bit more angle than what is required. So if I were to play this cue ball into this object ball at a half ball, it will obviously go a bit long. So when you find that your cue ball is at an angle where your safe zone, or the cue ball is at an angle that is too much to get into your safe zone, you may need to adjust by ball hit fraction. So I'm adjusting my aim here at about a 5/8 ball hit, and then of course it should correct the angle coming around. Now I definitely hit that one a hair too thick. I did in fact get into the safe zone. Let's have a look at the replay here. It wasn't a bad shot. Notice where the one ball is going, somewhere towards that side. It has a tendency, guys, to actually drop into the side, so you could potentially add that somewhere in your memory. Now you have to be careful, because sometimes when it does play to that perfection, the object ball that you're trying to play safe on, you will in fact pocket it and play safe on your own self. So there is in fact an advantage and disadvantage to this here. Now what you see here is that the objective of this shot here is to actually find the trajectory, have a feel for the trajectory, the hit on the cue, the hit on the object ball, the speed to get towards the corner. Now one thing that I realized here, and that was a beautiful execution there, I did in fact came on contact with my object ball from the inside there, so it definitely hit just a hair too thick. On that freeze frame, you can see where the cue ball is hitting just a hair thicker than a half ball hit. Now it was just a hair too thick, which, as I said, it lands right into that perfect little corner pocket safe zone. Is what I think Niels Fine called the 4 squares safety drill. So you will learn to avoid the scratch, as Niels Fine was explaining, with this sort of concept here. And of course, as I said, guys, bear in mind, and you will notice in the upcoming shots that the object ball have a tendency to head towards that side pocket here. Now notice now that I'm pushing an extra diamond towards the, from my vantage point here it's the left, but from the shooter's position it is about 2 diamonds here. Now I have way more angle than I actually need here, and this object ball, this cue ball here, if I hit this object ball at a half ball, it will definitely go long. So now I need to hit at about a 3/4 ball hit here, just anywhere about to that section there, and it should come around towards the corner. Now of course I didn't execute that shot to perfection there. Let's have a look at that freeze frame. Definitely that's about a 5/8 ball hit based on my viewing point here, but you can see it came off a hair too thick. Maybe there was a hint of side spin as well, because it kind of came on the inside, and that was definitely one way in which this safety is or can be a big sellout. Now that is why practicing is important to develop a feel, because whilst in this video I'm giving you a quantified version for how much of the object ball to hit, you can still miss hit the cue ball by applying unwanted side spin, but when it's done perfectly you will get that sort of result there. Beautiful shot here, aiming the cue ball there, and you can see it was just a hair thinner than a 5/8 ball hit. Maybe that required maybe that required a 5/8 ball hit as opposed to a 3/4 ball hit there. So you may, depending on your table and how it rolls, you may need to adjust maybe a hair thinner than your quantified calculation. All right, now I'm of course going to be switching sides as well, because once it is that you've learned this sort of system here, you need to develop the other side of your shooting as well. So I've now shifted one diamond from my vantage point here to my right, but from the shooter's vantage point it is to the left here. And so I'm going to be trying to hit the cue ball, hit the object ball here at approximately a 5 or a half ball hit here. Now, one thing I noticed on my table, and you'll see from that successful attempt there, beautiful shot, is that from the calculation that I've discovered, I realized that I oftentimes have to hit the object ball at a hair thinner than that value. So one thing I know, guys, if it is that you find yourself coming inside or outside of your target, you may need to adjust. And what I mean by adjust is, my calculation here is that at a half ball hit, it should head towards the corner, but I have to sometimes aim at a 3/8 ball hit instead. Now, beautiful execution there. I've shifted quickly here to another diamond wide of my object ball, and once again, this requires approximately a 5/8 ball hit here. In fact, calculatively, it's a 3/4 ball hit, but a half ball hit here is actually, pardon me, a 5/8 ball hit here is what I actually need to get the correct trajectory here. Now you can see here that when you hit it wrong, it can absolutely go wrong. You can bank the object ball, you can just pretty much sell out, because you have to be very committed to the safety. You have to, trust your eyes for what you're looking at. So if you're looking at a 5/8 ball hit and it kind of feels like a 3/4 ball hit, you need to trust how much of the object ball you need to hit and just allow the system to play its part there. Beautiful shot there, beautiful execution. That one came off a little hot. You can see that after the contact here, which is about a 5/8 ball hit, you can see it came off a bit hot and heavy off the second cushion, but it was just enough there to make that 2-reel carom into the object ball. Now, from this, guys, I know that whilst you're watching this video, you're developing your own feel towards this here, and so you can also use this as an advantage to really test out other aspects of your safety game, and kind of leave your thoughts in the comment section as well here. Now, I kind of wanted to really demonstrate what about if you're not in line with a diamond here. This is about a 7/16 ball hit, because from the first diamond there, it's about a 5/8 ball hit, and about from the center, it's a half ball hit. Adding those two fractions and dividing by 2 will give you an approximate 7/16 balls hit. Now, what I like to do here is that 7/16, it's very difficult for an average player who doesn't have a mathematical mind to visualize what a 7/16 balls hit is, but it's anywhere between a half ball and a 5/8 ball hit, somewhere there. So I kind of like to just hit it thinner than what I expect, so I kind of played that shot there pretty much at a 5/8 ball hit and just accept what it gives me there. Now, I didn't want to make the video too long or too complicated, so I just took one attempt at that shot where the cue ball is in line with the object ball in between a diamond here. Now let's have a look at when the cue ball doesn't have enough angle. This is now where you have to play with side spin. Now the target here is in fact to make contact with the 8 ball hanging in the corner. And once again, guys, this is a situation where the bank is not available, or it's a complicated situation where you are trying to really play a devastating hook on your opponent. Now here I've gone one diamond from my vantage point here to my right, but it's actually one diamond from the shooter's position to the left. So here I know that at a half ball hit is going to actually come a hair too much on the inside, so I have to use some outside spin here, maybe about a quarter ball hit. That was pretty close there. You can see the adjustment in my shaft there. A quarter ball tip, beautiful shot, coming right into that safe zone there. And if it goes long, you can hook your opponent into that square in that corner pocket there, that 1x1 diamond square. Beautiful safe zone and a difficult position for any shooter to shoot from there. Now, of course, I'm going to give it another attempt here. Remember that once the cue ball does not have enough angle, then it has a tendency to go a hair too much on the inside. So you have to adjust by using spin. And by using spin there, you'll find that you get a beautiful contact into the corner there. All right, beautiful shot here by Apex. Let's have a look at the replay. There should be like a freeze frame maybe. Oh, there was not a freeze frame. Notice how that cue ball starts to spread. It starts to open up the angle coming off the second cushion. And speed is going to be crucial when it comes to these types of shot, guys. And you have to trust what you are seeing here. Now, if I didn't mention it in the beginning of the video, guys, this is going to be part 3. Of course, in part 4, we're going to be using this knowledge then to advance into something extremely special. You want to stay tuned for that, guys. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button, because that is going to be something that's going to change your safety game forever. Now, shifting here, definitely about 2 diamonds inside here. So now I have a much thicker hit. Now I definitely have to be using some, about maybe a tip of right spin here coming inside the cushion. Beautiful, beautiful shot there. Again, you have to be extremely committed to the safety. And remember that this is just a drill. So of course the object ball look as if it's escaping and you're selling out, but you have to know that we are working on the fundamental aspect of this safety, because you can then determine, should I play for a cue ball object ball safety? Should I play for a cue ball safety only or an object ball safety only? By practicing this, you're going to see and develop a lot of sense behind all of this here. Now, what could possibly go wrong? And a big question that I know that quite a few guys have here is this a low percentage shot? Why would a professional player try to play this shot? You have to understand that the pro players have extreme run out ability, so one defensive shot can change the whole trajectory of a match. And so this is why the pros have these skills. You know, because I don't have the luxury of playing 3 cushion billiards, we don't have that access to that type of game here in my country. I have to be studying a lot of what is here, what I'm studying here with this 3 cushion, using quantified mathematics to help me with hitting the object ball where I need. Now, of course, you can see there on that short freeze frame, you see where I was using the spin, but I actually aimed, say here, a hair too thick. In fact, when you're using side spin, you have to be aware of the fact that when you're shooting with side spin left or right, the cue ball is going to squirt. So in fact, whatever your quantified calculation, whether it be a half ball or a quarter ball or a 3/8 ball hit, you literally have to aim thinner than your quantified value, because after applying the spin, it's going to squirt into and create more angle than what is required. So of course, you can see me going through a transition here of a couple of misses. The cue ball kept coming too much on the inside. It kept interfering with the cue balls and object balls part. So I needed to make a necessary adjustment here. I did in fact figure out that, hey, of course, on these types of shot, once you're applying with side spin, you're going to have to be aware to play the object ball thinner than the quantified value. Now, from this point of view here, I need to aim at a half ball hit, but I'm going to be using, say here, one tip of left spin from my vantage point, but one tip of right spin from the shooter's vantage point there. You'll know exactly what spin to use depending on the part that you want the cue ball to travel here. Now, as you can see, I like the fact that I can share with you that my drills are not necessarily successful. I don't want to come on screen here and show you that I'm successful at every attempt. I've had a lot of unsuccessful attempts, bad results in this drill here. As you can see, I kept coming short. I kept coming a bit too much. I'm using too much side spin. So practicing is important to develop a feel for this type of shot here. So I hope you guys, kind of get an understanding of exactly what is required to play these types of shot. You have to just use the diamonds as reference, and if you want a little bit more explanation on that, definitely check out the tutorial that is already available for you here. So we're going to be moving on now to playing defensive shots from 3 cushions here. Check the video out coming up next. See